Technology is progressing faster than ever, with groundbreaking new ideas being explored every day, from floating farms to edge computing. Here are the 5 most incredible emerging technologies that will change the world. Number 5. Graphene. The industry is continually looking for new materials to offer stronger and more reliable performance, but the next game-changing development is expected to be graphene. It's a substance that's long been theorized to exist, but has proven to be so complicated to manufacture that it's taken until now to become feasible. As the name would suggest, it is derived from graphite, which is the material you'll be familiar with that's used in pencils. Made entirely from carbon atoms, graphite is a 3-dimensional structure, but the exciting thing about graphene is that it's 2-dimensional. This means that the carbon is arranged perfectly in a hexagonal honeycomb formation that's only 0.3 nanometers thick, and there are just 0.1 nanometers between each of the atoms. Graphene can conduct electricity far more efficiently than copper, for example. It's also 200 times stronger than steel, but 6 times lighter. Number 4. GPS-3. First beginning in 1973 and completed in 1993, the American GPS satellite network was the first global navigation system and revolutionized the way that everyone determines where they are on Earth. At first, the benefits were envisaged for militaries, but the technology has now had an impact on all of our lives, from the way certain electronics work to sat-nav systems and location-based tracking. The problem with GPS, though, is that the original 24 satellites, along with further ones that were subsequently added, don't provide a perfect resolution and are only accurate within a few feet. They also don't provide full coverage around the world, as anyone who is trying to use location tracking in mountainous areas or dense urban environments will know, and the signals are actually relatively simple to block, which is a constant threat for military use. Number 3. Floating farms. As the world's population continues to grow, one of the biggest problems we face right now is how to produce enough food to satisfy everyone's needs. Amazingly, an estimated 30% of the global land surface is dedicated to agriculture, and a third of that is used for crops, and the remaining 2/3 is used for grazing livestock. And this not only restricts the potential areas for inhabitation, but also encourages large-scale deforestation and habitat change to create more farmland. Some companies are looking for alternatives to this, and while you may have heard of vertical farms that look to improve the yield for the same size plot of land, others are looking at far more radical solutions. One is the idea of floating farms, which can involve building huge complexes that sit on the surface of the ocean, can be moved to where they're needed, and crucially are temporary. They make use of areas that wouldn't be used for anything else and turn them into profitable commodities. Number 2. Edge computing. The way we use computers has changed significantly in the past few decades, and so has the way technology is designed to give us the best service. At first, everything was done on a singular device in our homes, and now we mainly use cloud computing, whereby most activities from our emails to documents and virtually everything else are held online, and our devices are essentially windows that grant us access to this. The problem with cloud computing, however, is that most companies rely on the infrastructure of just a few cloud providers: Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and IBM, with Amazon alone accounting for 47% of the market. Quite simply, everything that can be moved onto the cloud has pretty much been done so already, and there's very little room to grow in that space. So, others have been looking at the so-called edge of the cloud. What this really means is that they're exploring ways to bring the processing and storage of the cloud geographically closer to where the user is in order to improve the experience. Rather than just relying on a few data centers, it will see more work done locally, and the idea is that this will significantly reduce latency, will also improve privacy and security, and will help reduce the bandwidth being used so the infrastructure doesn't buckle under the pressure of increased usage. Number 1. Lithium metal battery. There's a focus right now on moving away from energy that produces emissions, and one of the best ways to do this is converting everything we use to run on electricity. As long as the electricity comes from green sources, major strides have been made in the past couple of decades, but one of the biggest limiting factors is the capability of batteries. Currently, the most reliable and cost-effective design that's used is a lithium-ion battery, but these have limits on how much they can charge and how quickly this can be done, as well as some concerns about their safety if they're damaged. A company called QuantumScape is, however, developing an alternative, which instead of having liquid parts like a lithium-ion battery, is a solid known as a lithium metal battery. The results from the company's early tests have suggested these could eventually increase the range of an electric vehicle by as much as 80% and can be recharged in just a fraction of the time too. Right now, the prototypes are too large to be fitted to cars, but they're expected to become much smaller in the coming years. So much so that QuantumScape has already signed an agreement with Volkswagen to start selling electric vehicles with the new batteries from 2025. Subscribe for more videos like this and turn on the notification to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.